as Bob said, it's going to be my pleasure to introduce you to Evoke, a low-code business app builder that Bluefinity have been selling around the world. So we were able to go out to a range of customers, partners, associates, and talk to them about what they needed and what they wanted in an ideal world, in a product that would allow them to create business apps. And the top 7 answers are what appear on your screen now. Well, no prizes for the top answer. Given the questions we asked, people told us they needed a product that would allow them to very quickly and very easily develop mobile and web apps that extended whatever back-end systems or applications you either had today or would have. And that it would produce apps in a low-code or no-code way, quickly and effectively, for all the major mobile and desktop devices. They told us they needed a product that would allow them to integrate and synchronize seamlessly with whatever databases they had, as well as whatever backend systems they had. And it would allow them to be very nimble, to adapt and evolve quickly as their business requirements changed, their customers' business requirements changed, or technologies changed. Because we're talking about apps, it was no surprise that one of the top answers was that there had to be secure, unlimited linear growth potential for the app. And we probably asked the wrong question when we said an ideal world, because one of the top answers was a product that would future-proof you against technological advances. Well, that might be a little utopian, but we took it down as one of the base requirements. Certainly, we asked leading questions to get adoption of current industry standards and products onto this list. It's always been part of the ethos of our company to use and sometimes set industry standards and to use best-of-breed products. But really importantly, people told us that if they were going to use a technology to create a business app design and then to generate and deploy business apps, they wanted to create the app once, to design a single user interface that would dynamically change across all platforms and all devices. And yes, of course, that means a watch has a smaller real estate screen than a phone a smaller screen than a tablet smaller than a laptop, etc., etc. But it's not just the screen size, not just the screen real estate. Also included is the different operating system cultures that there are between iOS, Windows, Android, and a single unified user interface is so much more than just screen real estate. Now, if you're observant, you'll notice I skipped over one, and that's the utilization of in-house existing personnel and their existing skills. And the reason I skipped over it is this answer, when it came back, related to so many of the other answers. For example, people told us that the people they believed were best placed to understand either their business requirements or their customers' business requirements were their own staff, and the people best placed to understand the evolution of these were their own staff. But moreover, they told us that they didn't have the time to go out and find specialist skills. They didn't have the time or the money to go out and hire a whole range of new people or third parties that may not be available when their requirements evolved. And so we took these down as our boilerplate, our blueprint for Evoke. And now Evoke is being used by organizations throughout Australia, South Africa, throughout Europe, and of course throughout North America, by organizations to develop sophisticated full-function business apps in a fraction of the time that it took them previously or more traditional methods. These same customers have created, using Evoke, web apps. They've created hybrid apps, and they have created native apps that have been deployed to the Apple, Google, and Windows app stores that all extend a whole range of different back-end and enterprise applications. These Evoke users have now not only developed and generated their apps using Evoke, but they have deployed these apps to their customers truly around the world, and now tens of thousands of users are using Evoke built apps. And our customers have found that it was all they needed to rapidly develop and deliver mobile, web, and desktop apps to their customers that run on all the platforms. And that is today live apps running on smartwatches such as Garmin and iWatch, on phones including iPhone, Android phones, Windows phones, the whole range of tablets, iPads, Amazon Fire tablets, Samsung Galaxy tablets. And the same app is running on Windows desktop, Linux desktop, and Apple Mac OS desktops. And the way they're doing this is they're using Evoke's what you see is what you get design interface that allows them to provide screens with the look and feel that you choose. So I have a personal bugbear with products that create something. If the product that creates if the thing you create has to end up looking like the product you used to create it, and with Evoke, it's not like that. You use whatever color palettes you want, whatever fonts you want, whatever styles you want. If you want an app that is more analytical, you'll use data grids, you'll use records, you'll use input fields. If you want a more graphical app, then you'll use graphs, pictures, you'll use signature panels. You're able to choose and design exactly how every part of your app will look, so it has the look and feel that you want for your organization or your customers or users. And Evoke comes with an exceptionally powerful and full function business logic library. And this has allowed just short of 50% of Evoke customers to build out apps that fully meet their business requirements without any customization at all. Now, I understand that you use a multi-value database, so I'll be very honest with you and say that almost all of our customers that have customization, almost all of our multi-value customers have been those that fall into the category of a customized app. And the reason for that is most multi-value database-based systems have built up over years, sometimes decades, with custom data basic. And the option to rip that up and throw it away, well, just frankly isn't an option. With Evoke, you don't have to. You are able, on Evoke's unique code hooks, to reuse and build new data basic custom code, or to call existing data basic subroutines, or to build out new customization in the UI level in either JavaScript, HTML5, C#, or any other language that your organization has skills in that can be accommodated by Visual Studio. We'll come back to customization a little later. Evoke allows you to create an app design, and then on that app design to give it the look and feel you want and the functionality you want using drop and drag, point and click, and option select techniques. It allows you to create a single UI design for your business app that will dynamically change based on the device that the app runs on, and use the component libraries and widgets within Evoke in order to give it the functionality you require. The code hooks allow you to go back and reuse any existing code that you already have as part of your app. There's full support in all apps within Evoke for application lifecycle management, ALM, and mobile process lifetime management, PLM. And the only reason we include these phrases in this presentation is Bob loves us to include three-letter acronyms into a presentation somewhere. So what are ALM and PLM? Well, mobile process lifetime management talks to the fact that a mobile device that your app might be running on, like a phone, is different fundamentally to, for example, a computer. A phone can take a phone call, for example, in the middle of doing something like looking at a web page. And when it does that, the operating system of the phone will start going through a process of managing the memory and the processing capacity of that device. In some cases, it will suspend web sessions. In extreme cases, it will terminate web sessions. But if you're looking at a web page, when the phone call or whatever it is that's interrupted it has finished, the web page will just be instantly refreshed by the operating system. The user will be looking at what they were looking at when the call started, and in almost all cases will not even notice anything has happened. But with an app, you may be doing in the middle of a retail transaction where you're doing a payment, or you may be doing some stock manipulation where you're updating the database. In fact, there are thousands of different ways that you could be doing data manipulation. And in that case, of course, the data integrity must be guaranteed. Evoke's mobile process lifetime management ensures that data integrity can be guaranteed whatever device your app is running on, whatever it is doing with the back-end system, and whatever it is doing with your database. And we used to say at this point in the presentation that anyone in your organization that can use a computer and maybe say can use Microsoft Office with a little bit of training will be able to build a full function business app that fully meets your requirements, and you can deploy it to your users. Say we used to say that because one of our customers decided that they would have one of their secretaries go through the training and build a full function business app. So now we've had to change this a little bit. And what we have to say is that anyone in your organization who can use a computer and can use Microsoft Office with a little bit of training will be able to use Evoke to create an app design and generate an app, the full function app, that meets your business requirements and can be deployed to your users as long as you give them access to one of your DBAs. Because honestly, that's the only place she got stuck. She couldn't understand their own database structure. And once they associated a DBA with her, not only did she complete the app, but I'm pleased to tell you that some 2.5 years later, that app is continually being rolled out to new customers of that company month after month after month. So of course, this gives you great opportunity to respond very quickly as your requirements or your customers' requirements evolve. Let's talk about databases. Evoke delivers a seamless integration into whatever SQL or multi-value backend database you have. Databases including JBase, Universe, Unidata, QM, MBase, D3, Cache, SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, Informix, and SQLite. But the icons you saw coming on the screen are not the databases supported by Evoke. These are the databases that our customers have already incorporated into app designs in Evoke that they have then gone live with. So these are the databases with live apps. The list of databases supported by Evoke is actually a longer list. So whatever existing or new product solutions you have, you're going to be able to accommodate them with an Evoke app. And you don't have to just stick with one database in a single app. You can have as many different databases and database technologies as you need within a single app. You could have, for example, your products file in Unidata. You could have your suppliers file in Oracle. You could have a pricing file in SQL Server, and you could have maybe a warehouse file in Universe. Maybe you'd have an orders file in Unidata with multi-valued associated groups and a whole series of sub-values. And Evoke will accommodate that seamlessly, ensuring that your database fits perfectly. Whereas in SQL Server, it'll use joins and link tables in order to help you accommodate the traditional SQL structures. All of this is done through a sophisticated mapping, entity, and classification modeling system that means that you do not have to change your multi-value database at all in order for it to work perfectly with Evoke. And that's important in the multi-value world because at the risk of getting a slap from Bob, I think it's fair to say that quite a number of multi-valued databases have interesting and sometimes challenging structures. But with Evoke, compound keys are not a problem, and the mixing up of data is really not a problem. There is, of course, immediate data synchronization between all devices. And if you generate your app design in Evoke into a native app, then you can offer your users offline data support. This means that if you're using the app on a tablet, say in a warehouse, and you walk outside the warehouse where there's no 4G or there's no Wi-Fi coverage, your users can still use the app, and you can determine for them whether they will be able to use all the functions or a subset of the functions, and whether they will be able to use all the database or a subset of the database. And depending on what you've set, a small version of the database or selected files will be held right there on the device in a small database local to the app. And as soon as you come back into the warehouse where there is 4G or Wi-Fi, there'll be immediate resynchronization with the central data. So as I said, Evoke allows you to create an app design. It allows you to use drop and drag, point and click, and option select in order to pull different components or widgets into your app design, to bring in different parts of your database into your app design, and to structure your app so that it is functionally performing what you want it to do using drop and drag, option select, and point and click. Then, with the click of one button, Evoke will take your app design and generate it into a full and complete industry standard Visual Studio and Visual Studio Xamarin project. This makes it very easy for you to deploy your app either natively or as a web app. And of course, it provides you an IDE in order to onward develop your UI part of your app, in addition to whatever IDE you're using for your data basic subroutines and code that are also part of your app. We've tried to use standardized technologies throughout. There are far too many to mention, so we've listed some of the more commonly known ones here. And we've worked with our existing customers to benchmark their apps that they've built and prove that secure, unlimited growth path potential of an Evoke app. And we've tried our very best to future-proof against technological advances. We use screen size boundaries within Evoke in order to ensure that we're always working with the next generation of device. We are part of the advanced operating system programs for all the major device and PC vendors, meaning that we're always an operating system ahead. So we've tried the best we can to future-proof our customers. But with Evoke, what's important is there are no proprietary lock-ins. Evoke will take your app design and generate a full and complete Visual Studio solution. 100% of the source code of your deployable app will be delivered immediately upon generation to your PC and will always be available to you. So what our customers have found is, well, Evoke's upgraded their existing personnel, allowing them to create some really amazing, powerful, multi-platform apps that work with your products, your data, and your computing devices. As I mentioned earlier, it doesn't end there. You do not have to rip up whatever data basic code or other code you've already written and throw it away. Evoke is able to enhance it in the front end, or it is able to reuse it. And throughout Evoke, we have a unique concept of custom code hooks. You can sprinkle these custom code hooks throughout your app design. And as simply as that, you can call to whatever existing routines or codes you have, or new unique code that you want to write if you wish to. But you also have access to the thousands of third-party components and component libraries that are available. Now, these are generally very well known, and we've only listed a few here. jQuery, ASP.NET, UV-Charts, Mailjets are exceedingly well known. So, for example, in one of the demonstration apps we'll show you today, there's a screen with 4 graphs on it. There's a bar chart, a line graph, a donut graph, and a pie chart. They were built in about 30 seconds each using Evoke components. They're multicolored, the segments pop out. We think they look great. But just because we think they look great doesn't mean that you're going to think they're going to look great for your users. So there's a custom code hook right next to those charts. And you can go to one of probably about a dozen graphing libraries. UV-Charts is a well-known one, but I want to stress this is just an example of one that's well-known. And you could hang UV-Charts on the code hook next to those graphs, and instantly those graphs would look like the UV-Charts graphs, not the Evoke graphs. And it's that easy. So your developers are getting a very easy and intuitive way to create apps, but unlimited capability to enhance, maintain, and add custom content. Most importantly, they can then go back into Evoke, use drop and drag, point and click, and option select to evolve their design, regenerate, and because of the custom code hooks, all of the custom content that you've applied or subroutines that you've called will all still be there. You don't have to reapply your custom code each time. There are many other things that we've added into Evoke, such as dynamic updating of both native and web apps without forcing your users through an App Store update process. And because I want to get on to the demonstration, there isn't time to tell you about all the good stuff in Evoke. There are over 100 different widgets that you can include in Evoke, whatever you'll need. And there's that what you see is what you get design interface, allowing you to create the look and feel you want. You can include chatbots such as an IBM Watson or proprietary chatbot. And those graphs don't stop at the 4 I mentioned. There's 12 different graphs that you can include within Evoke. Card views can be included so you can look like Amazon if you want, or provide an e-commerce style interface to your users, and every part of the app can be shown in over 180 different languages depending on who logs in. You can upload and download whatever file you need and whatever file type you want between whatever devices. There are signature panels. We've all used them for deliveries, and you can include them in seconds. And of course, all the parts of your devices like mobile cameras are fully integrated. Web services, a good example is Google Maps, can be included in moments, and you can print from watches, phones, or tablets directly from the app. There are lots of components such as calculators that can very easily be brought into your app, and it's a fully adaptive and reactive design, meaning it'll work perfectly on any devices. You can include videos in order to help your users understand something more, and there's full integration with payment systems such as PayPal, Stripe, different credit cards, and various bank APIs. There's a full capability for 360-degree virtual tours, and including hotspotting, and all of the tables have headers and footers built in. I mentioned earlier, you choose the fonts, sizes, colors, styles, and spacing that you want, and you can email directly from the app automatically or invoke an email system. There is, of course, full security. We have users in the healthcare and financial services industries, so the system has been fully checked out, and there's barcode and QR code scanning included as standard. What's really important is that everything I've told you about in this presentation is available for you to use through point and click, drop and drag, and option select. And that's what makes Evoke perfect for citizen developers and professional developers alike. For citizen developers, it does all the heavy lifting. For professionals, they're able to continue to write their data basic and use it. This means that everyone can build mobile apps today with Evoke.